All right, we about to see if it worked now. All right, yeah, we on now. Okay. All right, y'all. So, welcome to Shifting the Culture podcast. I'm your host, Brother King Cam, and this is where we speak truth to power, elevate the people, and challenge the narrative. And I want to just discuss and talk quickly about Marlon Wayans and 50 Cent. Marlon Wayans and 50 Cent. So, listen, I need everybody to make sure that they tap that like button. Facebook, I need you to make sure you tap that like button, and YouTube, hit that subscribe button, smash that subscribe button and that like button so you can stay notified each and every time that we drop a video. Y'all know we're gonna be in the comment section heavy tonight. We're gonna be in the comment section heavy. Peace to the God. What's going on, brother Nathan? What's going on with you, brother? I appreciate you tuning in. Let's make sure that we like and share. Let's get this out to as many people as possible. I'm gonna make sure I do that right now myself before we jump into this conversation real quick. Damn. Okay, bam. That's what we was trying to do. I had been going live, but it wasn't sharing nothing. It wasn't popping up or nothing like that. So I had to disconnect all of the destinations, all of the social medias. I had to disconnect all of them and then reconnect them for it to pop up. So we should be straight now. This what am I looking for? Boom. I want to share this. Okay, I don't know what the heck I just did, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. No, no, and no. Your story. No. Dang. They keep changing stuff. Maybe I can't. Oh, well, you used to could share it, right? Oh, there you go. All right, boom. That's what I was looking for. So let's make sure that we get this shared out, family. Let's make sure we get this shared out. All right, cool. Bam. Boom. I'm just sharing this out to some different spaces that I'm in, groups that I'm in, so that we can get the conversation going. Um, Let me know what city and state you tuning in from. Hit the comment section. Let me know what city, what state are you tuning in from. All right. I think I shared it to all the groups I could share it to. All right, cool. So, brother Nathan said it's been a long time. Man, we shoot a lot of stuff in studio now. We shoot a lot of stuff in studio now, brother Nathan. So I definitely got to get back on the virtual lives, but I shoot a lot of stuff in studio. So if you are on the YouTube page and even on Facebook, you'll catch a lot of the clips, but a lot of the full episodes are up on YouTube. All right, up on YouTube. But we wanna get into this conversation, and a lot of people have been seeing the back and forth between Marlon Wayans and 50 Cent. And the reason that they even are going at it, because some people may be asking, well, what they going back and forth about? Well, recently, the 50 is an executive producer of a docu series that's aired on Netflix about Diddy. So that just hit, and everybody's been watching it, giving their opinions, giving their responses to it, giving their thoughts and perspective on it. So Marlon Wayans did the same thing. Somebody asked him about what he thought about the documentary, and he gave his opinion. He gave his opinion. So let me pull up Marlon's words, and then we can go from there. Here we go. So check this out. This is Marlon Wayans' words as he speaks on the documentary.
We ain't baby all close.
Nah, you stupid.
But yo, look, Puff is
Nah. You working with
I've known
Pac?
Puff for 30 years.
You saw Big before he passed?
Yeah.
Bro, so you're close. And Jack, what were you saying?
In the documentary, there was insinuations of, that Diddy possibly had something to do with both Tupac and Biggie. And,
Who's telling the story, right? You can skew
People very close to the situation.
but you can create any narrative as a producer and as a director and as a storyteller. I can create a narrative. I could be like, you know what?
You have?
I could create a narrative.
Well,
I
we
could be
see it all the time on reality shows.
Reality
that's
shows.
right. Yeah,
That's how they create
write a
narrative.
narrative. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. I can get interviews. I can do this.
We ain't baby all close.
Nah, you stupid. But yo, look, Puff is I can get footage, and I could make you think this about that person.
Nah, for sure, yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So for me, I think, look, 50 and Puff have a long-term beef. It's personal. It's
Well, people are saying 50's wrong for doing it, but 50's right for doing it. It's divided.
It's between him and Puff. And before it's between him and Puff, it's between both of them and God. Just the way Puff is down on his luck and 50's kicking a man when he's down.
God is going to...
If 50 ever luck turn up on 50, that you got to be careful what you put out. There's a karma to every action that you do. I can get footage, and I could...
So the last two slides are 50 and Marlon Wayans going back and forth at each other, right? So I'm gonna see if I can show it to y'all. There you can see. So you can see right here, this is what 50 posted on his social media. This is what he posted about Marlon Wayans and the white chicks. Y'all know what that is. That's white chicks. And then, and 50 said, "Keep my name out your mouth, boy." Now 50 is the master troller, right? So then Marlon Wayans responded with this, 12 Years a Slave with 50. And he said, now let's think about this, 50. So they've been going back and forth about this. And I thought it was important to now enter the conversation because I think when you pull up a lot of the stuff that people are saying about Marlon Wayans, people are saying that Marlon Wayans is actually defending Diddy. And what I want to say about that is just because you have questions about anything that's going on doesn't mean that you're defending. So two things can be right at the same time. Like, everybody's in agreement that Diddy's wrong. He's guilty of a lot of the things that he's been accused of. So nobody's defending that. What I want to say that Marlon Wayans may be looking at, right, is Marlon Wayans may be saying, hey, he's looking at it from a character standpoint. He's looking at it from a moral standpoint. He's looking at it from a perspective of the man has already been to trial, video already been put out on him, documentary out on him. Now, on top of that, like, that's just adding more fuel to the fire. He's been sentenced to prison time. So it's not really much more that you got to add to the situation. That's what Marlon Wayans is saying. There's nothing else that really need to be added to the situation. He's saying this about the documentary. 50 is going out of his way. This is what Marlon feels and believes. 50 is going out of his way to kick a man while he's down. Now, I don't agree with kicking nobody while they down either. I'm with Marlon Wayans on that one. I'm just not in the mindset of piling on. It doesn't matter what they did. There's no need to continue to pile on. And when I say I'm talking about my people. I'm talking about my people. Yes, I am biased when it comes to my people. Sorry. To a certain degree. I do have a bias. I don't like to see black men being down. I don't like to see us acting other than ourselves, right? So obviously I don't like to see black men committing crimes. I don't like them seeing them abusing women. I don't like them abusing anybody. I don't like to see black men. You shouldn't be doing that stuff. So part of my platform is I use the platform so that we can work to change the condition of our people and change the consciousness, specifically dealing with black men. Why? Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said and teaches us that if you're going to build a civilization, you first must make a man. If you're going to build a people, you must first make a man. God does this each and every time he raises up a messenger amongst a people who have gone off the path of God. The first thing he does is he makes a man, and he makes that man to be his messenger, to be his warner, to be his vicegerent amongst the people. So the first thing you do when you are in the resurrecting business, in the resurrection of a people, then the first thing you have to do is make a man. So the man is so important to the resurrection of a people. That's why I look to do a lot of the work with the brothers. Okay? This is why the brothers have to be worked with. Because we're trying to raise our people from the dead. And in order to be successful at that, you first must make a man. So we got to clean up our behavior. We keep throwing the word accountability around, which I'm in agreement with us being accountable. And our accountability, we have to go ahead and clean ourselves up. We got to stop acting crazy out here. So now that we're in agreement about that, I still don't like to see a black man being torn down. So Marlon Wayans is in the same lane with me on that particular point. He like, yo, Fifth, it's no need for you to even touch this. We know, everybody know what Puff has allegedly been guilty of. All of that has caught up to Puff and really should have been spoken out on a long time ago, especially if you witnessed certain things, especially if you was a part of certain things and you knew it wasn't right. You should have said something a long time ago. There's no excuse. There's no excuse to allow wrongdoing to continue to happen. I don't care nothing about no job. I don't care nothing about no career, no industry. I don't care nothing about none of that. If you see wrong things happening, criminal things happening, all of that kind of stuff, then it's your duty to say something. Especially as a man. There's too many men that was around this other man and just allowing him to do what he wanted to do. As a man, you got to stand on that business. All right? You got to stand on that business. So, Marlon is saying, listen, we not about to be a part of the party that's going to keep piling on to the problems that Diddy has caused for himself. We're not about to add on to that. That's pretty much what Marlon Wayans is saying. Then he talked about in the clip that, you get back everything that you put out. So whether you're doing this because you got a personal vendetta, and let me just clear this up too, because I learned that 50 is executive producer in name, but obviously has no power. He has no power, really. They're using him as a face. They're using him for his influence. They're using his face because they know you can get a lot of the black community, get a lot of black people watching it because they attach 50 name to it. But when it comes to power moves and decisions and what's going in the documentary, what's not going in the documentary and all that kind of stuff, then 50 did not have a lot of say-so in that. He had some say-so, but not a lot of say-so. The reason why is because I watched an interview with Diddy former bodyguard, Gene Deal, who was originally going to be in this documentary, and he spoke with another producer on the show, and that producer, who's not black, said that, 50 don't have no power to do nothing. 50 don't have power to do nothing. So if he told you one thing, then whatever he told you, he don't even have the authority to make it happen. 50 don't know anything. He don't have that authority. That's what the other producer said, who's not black. What she said about Fifth, which is again, which is normally how these things go. When you see these things and they put a high profile black name on it, they really doing that to showcase and to use and leverage you as a tool, that person, to be able to bring in the desired audience. Because if they had some other executive producer on there, it wouldn't have got the same effect. But see, the effect is what they wanted to be, which is they want all of the black people, hip hop community, and others to be able to chime in on this because 50 Cent name attached to it. So you got that, divide and conquer aspect in this, but we staying strictly on Marlon Wayans and 50 for right now. So now that's the dynamic. So Marlon is saying, hey, look, it's cool, everything is coming out, and people had to be held accountable. That's 100% true. But there's a way that you go about it, and you're not going about it in a real professional way, and you're not really going about it in a way that can help you out on the karma side. That's Marlon Wayans' position on this. You feel me? And I don't have no problem with his issue that he took up with 50 Cent on this. I don't agree with the brothers arguing in public about this because it's just not a good look. Again, it's not a good look because when you know the ones who really have the power, then it becomes a bad look because they looking at us as if we haven't figured out who really doing this. They put 50 in position to do what he's doing. Marlon says what he says, and now it creates an atmosphere. We take debate and create an atmosphere that's now centering these two men who really don't have authority or power as to what's going on with that documentary at all. At the end of the day, 50 Cent had no power to stop the documentary from coming out, nor did he have power to stop the documentary from even being created. And I did not like 50 involvement in this. So I'm with Marlon Wayans on this 100%. Because I didn't like 50 involvement on this, but the reason why is because of what I just mentioned earlier. I know they was using 50 for just face value. Huh? I knew they was just using 50 for face value. I already knew that. And then Gene Deal confirmed it once he said he had the conversation with the other producer and they was having some money negotiations. They was having money negotiations because 50 had told him they would be getting paid one thing. This lady told Gene another thing. And when he brought up the fact that he had spoke to 50 about it, she said, oh, well, you spoke to 50. He don't have no authority to make nothing happen. So ain't no point of you even speaking to 50. That's when I knew. I said, that's what solidified it and sealed the deal. I said, yeah, they just using 50 as a face to get us in the black community interested in this particular project. Because there was, people were saying, it was like, a couple of other documentaries that had came out, quote unquote documentaries that came out on Tubi and stuff like that, but they was like poorly produced, trash. It wasn't nothing new, no new information, none of that stuff. So, but that's my whole thing. We have to look at this. And what I encourage everybody to do is this is not about throw defending Diddy out of the language, out of the lexicon, because nobody's doing that unless you his mother or somebody maybe. But other than that, nobody's defending him. However, people can look at the information and have issues with the information and not draw the same conclusion. People can look at the situation in its totality, like Marlon Wayans is doing, and saying, hey, while you are saying this is an accountability issue, we looking at it from the point of, well, he's being held accountable. And the fact that he's being held accountable and he's serving time, he's taking the consequences that he earned, then there's no need to add anything else to it because now it becomes overkill, especially when the person look like you. It's just overkill because to a lot of people, point 50 he can't wag his finger at Puff for what Puff was doing because 50 had his own issues. Just like most people that's running their mouth got their own issues. It's just haven't come out yet, or you haven't had nobody put a documentary out on you yet. So it's just a matter of time, not if but when. Because the way these people is targeting black men, successful black men, it's not if but when. Because at the end of the day, to me, it's looking like they want to make sure that any images of positive black men are tainted. Any images of positive black men are tainted, especially if you are raging against the machine, especially if you got a little rebel in you, especially if you got a little liberation, freedom fighter, revolutionary type of vibe going on with you, and you got some influence, you got some cultural influence, then they want to shut that down immediately. Now, we can get into a bunch of different examples of that, whether it's Michael Jackson, Prince, Dr. Cosby, Diddy. We could get into all of those different instances, but we know that at the end of the day, if you can raise the level of consciousness of our people and you got cultural influence, especially through hip-hop, entertainment, or sports, then there is a target on your back. That's just real. It's a target on your back if you got that kind of influence. They don't want no type of alpha male leadership. Heterosexual alpha male leadership in place. They don't want that. They don't want that at all. That's a threat to them. That's a threat to them. Anybody that has the ability to electrify and unify the masses that could look like a black messiah. See, the black messiah is an alpha heterosexual male, black male. That's who the black messiah is. Heterosexual alpha black male. They don't want that to happen. They don't want that rising up out of black people. So they snuffing out anybody who may even look like that. That may be the case. Listen to what I'm saying. They snuffing out anybody that even look like that could be the case. So, with that being said, we got to make sure that we watching all of the hands that's being dealt, all of the hands that's being played. We got to make sure we watching them all. That's all I'm saying. Again, nobody's defending Diddy. You get that out of the lexicon. I don't know nobody who defended that man for the things that he's done. And I don't know nobody that has defended him. But that don't mean that you don't have issues with the way the information is presented. You don't have issues with certain things. Like, he can be guilty of some things and innocent of other things. Diddy did everything that they said he did. I don't believe he did everything that they said he did. He did a lot of it, but he didn't do everything. So you can have disagreements there, right? And again, if you see me, I try to humanize everybody. I like to try to humanize everybody. And being a part and being human doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes. Part of being human is that you make mistakes. So if you are a human, you're going to make mistakes. So that means you're not perfect, which means you're going to do stupid things. You're going to do things that are not so good. You're going to lie. You're going to, mishandle people, mistreat people. You're going to do all those things. As a human being, you're going to do those things. So when people do those things, I try to look at the humanity in that person and the intention and overall what that person stood for. Yeah, just like they doing my son. Right? My son is appointed to the team, to the mayor of New York's team, right? And transition team. And then now they start bringing up all of this old stuff about my son, bring up his past, and label my son to be some type of criminal, even though that man hasn't been involved in any criminal activities for 15, 20 years. He ain't been involved in no daggone criminal activities. And they're going to bring that up because now he's a part of the mayor's transition team. See, but my son represents represents that alpha heterosexual male freedom fighter liberation energy I was just talking about. My son represents that. So they don't want that at the forefront. No mayor of New York. New York is a powerful city. They don't want you on the mayor's transition team with that type of energy. The type of energy that my son puts out. Remember, my son is a walking campaign for canceling coward culture, right? He's an advocate for stopping violence against black men specifically in our community, but and a lot of crime that we commit against one another. He's an advocate against that. He calls it coward culture. When you go out here and you killing your own people under gangs and over street beefs and all that kind of stuff, man, coward culture. My son is a big advocate for that. He talks out about that all the time, especially being a hip hop artist himself. He really be getting to these rappers about it. You see what I'm saying? But that's that Black Messiah energy. They don't want nobody to use their influence to be able to influence any other people to get up behind that movement. That's how important and crucial the black man is to the liberation of black people. They don't want nobody to take that Black Messiah energy and get any momentum, because when you do that, you start manufacturing more Louis Farrakhan's, more Martin Luther King's, more Malcolm X's, more Dr. Khaled. See, all of them come out of Black Messiah energy. They come out of that Black Messiah energy. From the Black Messiah, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So he was manufacturing little Black Messiahs. But it's that energy that they don't want to have, because they think that because they snuffed out Malcolm and snuffed out Khaled and snuffed out MLK and snuffed out other freedom fighters that we had, and they attempted to snuff out the minister, and they think that the minister being silenced on and banned on social media and all the things that they've done to the minister, they made him essentially irrelevant, but they really want to snuff him out. They want to make sure he's the last of that energy. But you got brothers like my son. You got influential people in hip hop and entertainment, influential people in sports who have been touched and impacted and affected by that Black Messiah energy, by the Farrakhan factor. Let's just call it what it is. Now, anytime those people connect with other people and start to build up the momentum, like Kyrie Irving, build up that momentum for that Black Messiah energy, they got to stop it, and they got to stop it quick. Real talk. It's real. You know? So that's the thing. That's what we got. That's what's going on, Brother Nathan. That's what's going on. So that energy, they don't like that energy. And they're going to try to stop that energy. So they use media, which is one of their biggest tools to snuff out and stop that energy. So they produce films and docuseries and all of that kind of stuff, so they can show you all of the ones that we looked at as, you know, being moguls and all that. You can take them down. I mean, just think about it. Everyone that they put a case on was a mogul, was a superstar, was like the biggest star on the planet. They did it to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was the biggest star on the planet. Prince, mogul. Diddy, mogul. Dr. Cosby, mogul. Right? They're not going for no little fries. They're going for all the big fish they can get, so that they can have example after example. It's a technique that they've been using since slavery. They're going to take the biggest, baddest, toughest Negro on the plantation, and they're going to make an example out of them, and then put them on display so that other Negroes don't get no ideas. And say, well, this is what we did to the best of you, so the rest of you don't get no ideas. That's it. So, you know, if you on the more of the 50 Cent perspective of this, and it's about accountability for you, that's a beautiful thing. But you don't allow yourself to be used as a tool and a weapon against your people. If you want to hold somebody accountable, you do that. But you don't need to go through major media platforms like Netflix to call yourself holding somebody accountable. It's not necessary. We gotta be guarded with how we handle each other, because we don't handle the enemy like that. So I'm saying, if we're not gonna keep that same energy when it comes to the enemy, then handle your brother and your sister the way that you would want to be handled. That's all we saying. That's right. Break them in front of everybody and make an example out of you. Now, when we transition, let's transition real quick over into the brother from Michigan, the former Michigan head coach, because I thought that story was interesting. Ain't really much to say about it. You know, people say, well, what you gonna say? You know, what are your thoughts on it? It's really no thoughts. Really nothing to say, because we've really been talking about this for the longest time. You know, we done told the brothers. Dr. Umar always telling the brother, you stay away from these damn white women. But here we go again with another brother who done lost everything he done worked for behind some damn Karen. It says fired Michigan football coach charged with home invasion and stalking. So the brother, not only did he lose his job, but then he lost the job and caught felony charges behind it because he had a mental breakdown. Now, this man is married to a white woman, but then he's cheating with another white woman. Get caught cheating, or not necessarily get caught cheating, but the whole affair is broken off with him and the white girl that work on his staff, and then she dimes him out. See, this is exactly what Dr. Umar be saying. This is exactly what the minister been telling us. You stay away from these women, brothers. See, the way God set us up, opposites attract. So when opposites attract, then of course you see the white women and you interested. But this happens each and every time. You see, she used the brother for what she could use him for, and when she got tired of it, she went to the school and started telling. And she told it all. And then he ended up losing the job, and then he gets so crazy mentally. They say that he forced himself over to her apartment, and he went over there threatening to kill himself. It says fired University of Michigan football coach, I can't pronounce his first name, Sharon Moore, barged his way into the apartment of a woman with whom he had been having an affair and threatened to kill himself after she reported the relationship to the school, and he lost his job, prosecutors said Friday. Now, in none of the reports, I haven't heard where they said she lost her job. Because remember, she worked there too. They didn't say she lost her job. It's all about him losing his job. So he done lost his job. But on top of that, he get charged with 3 crimes. 2 of them is felony home invasion and stalking. So not only do you lose the job, lose the $5 million contract that you had, all behind some damn KV, but then you go and catch felony charges. It's hard enough being black in general, but now you go and mess around and be a felony black man. You're going to be a felon and a black man. There's not 2 things that you want to be in America. So it's already rough out here. So it says that the prosecutor quoted Moore as telling the woman, so this is the former head coach telling this white girl, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life. No, brother. Accountability, that's the word of the month. You ruined your life. Not this girl. You ruined your life, buddy, because you don't listen to people like me and Dr. Umar and Minister Farrakhan. This is why you ruined your life, sir. Because your mama told you and we told you to stay away from white women. They got white men they can go deal with. They can deal with Chinese men if they want to do that. But black men, you need to stay away from these women. This is what's going on. And then look what she said to the people. This what the white woman said. To the prosecutor, I believe. She said she was terrorized. Now, this is a person you've been dealing with for multiple years, because it said that y'all had this affair for multiple years. So you've been dealing with this person for all this time. She ain't never felt terrorized then. But all of a sudden now, she's terrorized. See how they do? See how it go? And this man had, let's see, Moore signed a 5-year contract with a base annual salary of $5.5 million last year. My boy had the bag. He had the bag and lost the bag. Not only that, but I read that in the clause for Jim Harbaugh, who was the coach prior to him taking over, it was that if John Harbaugh leaves Michigan, then they have to give this man the job. So Jim Harbaugh made sure that the clause read, the paperwork read, that when I leave, you get the job. You was locked in. And you messed it up. And you messed it up. And you messed it up. Behind a Karen. Come on, bro. Can't be going out behind no goddamn Karen, bro. But he did. He did. So he done lost the $5.5 million bag. All because Becky and them. And Becky good. Like I said, you ain't hear nothing about her losing her job. If Becky did lose her job, trust and believe she can go to another school, get another job from another coach quick. And it'd probably be some brother who give her another job, give her another opportunity. Because we so stupid. We so stupid. We stupid at this point. We got to be stupid at this point. We can't say that we don't know. It's been too many examples. After what happened with Shannon Sharp, I don't know how this brother allowed this to happen. I don't understand. I really don't. Because Shannon should have told y'all. Shannon should have been on the phone with all of the brothers, letting y'all know what's up. See? So I don't understand if you seen what happened with Unc, why you would even put yourself in this position. But he did. He put himself in this position, and this is what happened. So like I said, ain't much to say. It's what has to be learned here is you are not the exception to the rule. I don't know why these brothers keep thinking that there's rules and then they are the exception. There's rules and then they are the exception. No, sir, that's not it. There is not in the white supremacy playbook with the rules. You are never the exception. It doesn't matter who you are, how much money you have, who your friends are. It does not matter. You will meet the same fate. The only difference that Shannon and this brother got is this brother was solely relying upon his money from Michigan as a coach. Shannon had other things he could fall back on. So even though he never returned to ESPN, and working on mainstream television, he got Club Shay Shay. He created his own sports show, Nightcap, got with Ocho, what I'm saying? They doing their thing. So Shannon don't need ESPN. But this brother, obviously he don't have no other backup plan because he ran over there allegedly to that girl house talking about she ruined his life. When he could have just like, oh, well, I mean, that's the end of Michigan, but I got this X, Y, and Z to fall back on. You see what I'm saying? But he's not thinking. He's not thinking. And I don't know this brother background, anything like that. But this is what happened when you don't have your finger on the pulse of the community and the culture. You're not in tune. Because everybody would have told you, anybody that's your friend, Mr. Moore, should have told you, bro, leave that white girl alone. And knowing the brothers is something, unless you hang out with white dudes all the time. Somebody told you to leave that white girl alone. You just ain't listen. That's the problem. That's what happened. They told you to leave that white girl alone, but you ain't listen. You thought you knew better. You thought you could do better. You thought you was an exceptional, talented 10th Negro. And nope, they let you know you still black. No matter how many games you won, you're still black. You're still black. Blackity black, black. So that's what happened. When you blackity black, black, they're going to do you just like this. So, what I would say to the family is, especially young dudes that seeing this stuff, man, look at this stuff as lessons and learn from the lessons. Don't watch the lessons and then don't learn nothing from them and then turn around and do the same thing and become a victim. Because at some point then we got to stop feeling sorry for you, because now you just doing stuff. You just being a part of stuff and you're not making wise decisions. It comes to decision making at a certain point in time. Right, Brother Nathan? It's all about the decision making after a certain point in time. And if you're going to constantly make bad decisions, then, we can't, and then we could do with that. We can't help you if you're going to constantly make bad decisions. You got to be willing to learn. You got to be willing to listen. You got to be willing to take advice from those who have been there. Giving out all their advice after they wore his butt out, no homo, for dealing with Karen and messing with the Beckys. It cost them $20 million messing with the Beckys. $20 million is a hefty price to be messing around with Karens and Beckys. We don't got that type of time. We don't got that type of dough that we need to be throwing out the window behind no Beckys and no Karens. Okay? Black queens forever. Snow bunnies never. I'm with that, boy. That's what we need to be. That need to be a part of the song. That need to be a part of the band. That need to be a poster. That need to be a postcard, a hashtag. That need to be somewhere in all of these Power 5 athletic programs in these Power 5 universities. You need to have that there so you'll remember. Look, black queens forever, snow bunnies never, because they there waiting to get you. And you will get got if you don't keep that on the forefront of your mind. Okay? Got to keep that on the forefront of your mind. That's right. You're going to suffer the consequences, bro. You're going to suffer. So, but that's all I had for tonight, family. Just wanted to come in, tap in with that. Man, we got an episode that's dropping this upcoming Friday on Shifting the Culture podcast. You don't want to miss that. Excellent guest, Dave Anderson, is going to be having a conversation with us where we discuss Dr. Umar's school. We discuss how he made millions of dollars being the business bully. I'm talking about Dave Anderson in business coaching. And we also talk about his 25-year career in radio. So we get into all of that in the latest and upcoming episode of Shifting the Culture podcast. And then, of course, like I was saying to Brother Nathan earlier, we're going to get back to getting these virtual ones in too. So I've been grinding, though, family, so I appreciate you. And make sure that you like, subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Stay tapped in. And I appreciate you always one and the same. All right, family, peace and blessings.